terrorize us again. And apart from everything, now they have nuclear weapons. You see, and then we are talking about giving people AK-47 and pump action and revolvers, and people think, oh, that's too many arms. But I believe we should have arms, if nothing at all, Kwame, to protect your family. Because I've seen before the actions of, armed robbers, if nothing at all. If they come to your house and you are not armed, they'll rape your wife, they'll rape your daughters, and they might kill you on top of it. So you need to be armed, legally, registered with the police.
Thank you.
I'm all for gun ownership legally by the Ghanaian and African peoples. Thank you.
Gabriela.
Very interesting submissions by Soprano. I agree with most of what he said, minus the gun ownership. Because, I mean, if you look at the Equa sub-region, I think that what he's referencing with the removal of President Gaddafi really caused a lot more instability in the Sahel region than ordinarily was the case, because here was a gentleman who was using his own resources and political pedigree to force a lot of these clans to be more or less like suppressed in their activities. Now, when you look at the countries that are currently involved in terrorism within our sub-region, it appears that a lot of these organizations have found themselves embedded in Mali. The terrorist groups that attacked the hotel in Abidjan, their source were in Mali. The terrorist group that attacked the hotel in Burkina Faso were remnants from the group in Mali. And so the issue is, how do we address the challenges within Mali, Chad, Niger, that have caused breeding grounds for terrorism? Issues of youth unemployment. Unfortunately, that region, because of the Sahel Desert and the deforestation that has happened there, you see that the Sahel Desert is now moving southwards. And ordinarily, communities that were engaged in some form of farming now don't have much to do. Animal rearing, most of them were nomads, have very little to do now. Those countries are also not, compared to the countries within the southern belt, those ones closer to the coast, they aren't economically as developed, that they have so many other resources that they can also bank on to run these economies. The economic management of those countries have been nothing to write home about. So the issues are much deeper and ingrained. Now, what my brother suggested with gun ownership.
Very important.
Gun ownership, I'm not sure gun ownership cures poverty. In fact, if anything at all, gun ownership combined with poverty is going to equal armed robbery.
But then when they come to us, they'll be armed heavily.
And then if we become violence, we get violence. And whichever one of us is able to fight and hold our state better. You see, Kwame, I think that we have a lot of conversations around terrorism groups within West Africa, and these days it's becoming one too many.
Yeah.
And the more stories you hear, it's obvious that these terrorist groups are moving out of Mali into other countries. They are finding their way southwards, even to countries that have no business with them. I think that the sub-regional body, ECOWAS, has a bigger role to play in combating terrorism within this region. And they should be more proactive and more assertive in their approach. If the people of Mali do not have jobs, if they can't afford the everyday things and they start migrating, where are they going to go? Many of them are now, when you see the Chadians, if you go to Accra Mall, you find them standing there by the roadside, the women and the children. They are moving into Cote d'Ivoire, they are moving into Nigeria, and these economies are not built with any proper welfare system to support migrants who come from these other countries, and they become rather a problem to our social systems. So African countries, whether the AU, but most especially ECOWAS, because it's a sub-regional issue now, most importantly, ECOWAS and the ECOWAS member states should be seen to be doing more to support these countries that have become breeding grounds for terrorism, address the issue of poverty, improve on agriculture. There are much more improved seeds that are able to withstand some of these hard conditions, and they may not be able to grow crops that are grown in the tropics, but there are definitely some cereal crops that can be grown in Mali. From the top of my head now, I can't seem to remember, but there's
drought-resistant crops.
Fine, drought-resistant crops to support these economies, to create jobs for the young people. Young unemployed people are the best instrument for radicalism, for religious manipulation, because they believe every single thing, and they always believe that whatever is happening to them is as a result of some bad leaders that they have. But it's beyond leadership. There are a lot of hard conditions that have to be satisfied. To address.
The danger for us as Africans is that oftentimes we have conversations about the aftermath of their actions, right? Without creating an avenue through which we can solve the problems that there is. Because the question then becomes, what is accounting for all of these things that are happening across the sub-region? What is it? You know, is it as a result of religion? Is it as a result of oil?
Education is also a problem.
Education, unemployment. What is it? What is the issue? You know, so that we can, once we address those issues, then we will be able to bring some sanity across the sub-region. That's what I. So yeah, maybe you want to touch on that briefly.
Yes. So on the issue of unemployment and religious radicalism, education plays a very important key. Unfortunately, the last time I mentioned this, we got a texter telling me that Islam doesn't preach illiteracy, because I made reference to Boko Haram and why they don't want people to be educated. But I'm yet to see any religion that does not promote education, because even reading scripture is an education. When you teach young people, whenever it comes to issues of religion, I always prefer that you tell people the truth about whatever the religion is, than to try and put a spin and use different texts of any scripture to try and back things that are obviously bad, fraught in wickedness and deception. Look, if we could have, for us in this part of West Africa, like Ghana, you see the role the missionaries played in getting us educated. Perhaps we also, as church groupies in this area, should pick up the challenge and rather send religion, because those who are Christians, also have missionaries and evangelism team, also go into these countries and start a movement to not just teach true religion, but to also find a way to deconstruct the radicalism that has been implanted in these young people. And it's only when you teach.
But that's the challenge for me. The radicalism did not just spring out of the moon.
Somebody
it sprang from it sprang from a certain exigency.
Somebody also has to give them another version.
But the exigencies that necessitated the introduction of all of these ideologies does not find expression in religion or any other thing immediately. Because let's look at how Boko Haram, for instance, came about. Yes, initially they said they were just what's it called? More like a cult, you know, that wanted to ensure that Islamicism is spread across the Nigerian, the northeastern part of Nigeria, right? Which is education. I mean, which obviously would be a good thing. Then it transmogrified to become a politically, motivated organization that sought to, if you will, fight, the government of Nigeria for failing to do what it ought to do for the people in Northeast. And then obviously, just degenerated to becoming one of the most dreaded organizations in the sub-region. So you realize, if you follow the trajectory, you realize that, yes, they always start on the footing of religion, because look, people are largely susceptible
religion is
to the doctrines of religion.
It's every...
Yeah, and the opium of the masses. So that should prick your intelligence to want to probe further and find out why religion. Why is it that every time when somebody wants to take advantage, exactly, someone wants to take advantage of the people, they seek to hide behind the cloak of religion to perpetrate their heinous crimes. So why? Why religion? Is religion the way to go in addressing the myriad of challenges confronting the people? We've seen why. I mean, we've seen other countries where they don't subscribe to religion. Indeed, in Rwanda, the president closed down churches, but they are developing. So then the question becomes, why is it that we why is it that we are so, we concentrate so much on religion as opposed to looking at ways in ameliorating the direct challenges that confront the people?
No,
why religion?
It's multidimensional. And when I started, I mentioned the issue of how poverty plays a role in this. How even desertification within the Sahel region is leading to people not being able to cultivate their crops and have livelihoods. So causing unemployment among the youth. But these people who have managed to indoctrinate these young people are using religion, hardcore religion.
Because religion is part of the superstructure.
Religion is part of the religion like it's a bad thing.
No. Religion is part of the superstructure. And you see, for people to further entrench themselves, whether in government or in any other thing, they seek to use religion, they seek to use the law, they seek to use governance and a few other things to be able to entrench themselves. So it's part of the superstructure, so that it will continue to suppress people and continue to make people feel that if they have to do something, there must be a certain recourse to something.
But
do you get what I'm saying?
But true religion doesn't suppress.
What does it do?
True religion rather enlightens.
What does it do?
True religion enlightens.
It enlightens people to feel that, if they need some salvation, they need to go to some pastor for the pastor to preach.
No. The true religion says that even if you go and hide in a corner, let nobody see you and say your prayer, the Lord will answer you.
Yeah, but you go to church, you pay tithe, you pay all those things.
Those are the formalities that society has developed over time.
That principle ought to stand. We preach for people. We teach
true religion teaches you that it is your relationship as an individual with God.
Yeah.
And not just about the church. The church is that place where you all go and meet each other and to encourage each other and to learn with each other. But the true religion is that relationship between you and your Creator.
I agree with that. But if you let's look at this country, for instance. Why is it that there's a moral decay in the system? Because people go to church. Hold on. With the grace of respect to you, people go to church. People preach. They go to church. They subscribe to all the principles that there exist within the church.
They go there for the association. They don't go there. They don't go there for the moral lessons they will learn.
Yeah, but the church is supposed to play a certain role. So if the person comes to church only for association, it means that the church is not achieving the purpose for which it was created.
But that's probably the case in the country, right?
Absolutely. Because you see, I'm getting to this point because people who claim they are pastors, right, are the ones who are determining the future of our dear nation, Ghana, whether it is true or otherwise. Because you and I are educated, we know that what they are saying is bullshit. But the truth is also that there are several other people in this country, for instance,
who buy
into this misconception about a certain supernatural, description of how the country would be in the nearest foreseeable future, and people buy into that. On the basis of that, they vote a certain way.
But that can be achieved only if certain actions are taken and certain negative things are taken.
So if for instance, if you have, I know we are deviating a little bit, but for instance, if you have a whole presidency or a whole government buy into that concept by saying, I'm going to build a cathedral, that should tell you where we are headed. Because people do not have roads, people do not have hospitals, people do not have proper healthcare systems, right?
There are million churches in Ghana.
There are million churches in Ghana, and then all we're thinking about is to build a cathedral. For what?
You see?
So that's the point I'm making. And so if you find that people who are unemployed are on the streets of Accra, the people who sell the dog chains right in front of Fiesta Royal Hotel, the people who sell the scratch cards, if you find that it gets to a point where even they are not able to eke an income like 20 Ghana cedis that they originally would have gotten, they don't get it any longer. What do you want them to do? And if we find somebody who is very radical, who fit into that confusion, what happens? Then we form a military, a militant organization, and then they decide to defend themselves.
I don't think it goes that far, but since you mentioned the issue of the cathedral, look, the late president of Cote d'Ivoire is what's his name? Kofi Boahin built a very beautiful cathedral in the northern part of Yamoussoukro. Beautiful edifice, great tourist attraction. People go there for a certain spiritual purpose. Did that deteriorate Cote d'Ivoire?
What is the state of Cote d'Ivoire now?
Cote d'Ivoire is not a bad country.
No, what is the state now?
No, but you see, when you have
ourselves to Cote d'Ivoire.
No, we're not comparing ourselves to Cote d'Ivoire. We have a lot of things
I've
in
been to
common.
Cote d'Ivoire too.
We have a lot of similarities in common. Building a cathedral does not solve all our problems. Even the Bible told us, Jesus Christ told us, as for the poor, they will always be with you. The decisions and the choices we make to address poverty are different from the decisions and choices we make in building a cathedral. A cathedral can serve many purposes. Personally, if you ask me, I'm not against the building of a cathedral. I'm just not in favor of the cathedral located where it is, for other reasons.
Even when people don't have jobs to do.
People who have jobs to do. And we have to consistently make sure that we create enough jobs. That creates a multiplier effect.
Yes, but the multiplicity of those effects must find expression in something. Even when newborn babies don't have incubators, even when we don't have a lot of
it's the construction of the cathedral
we don't have
taking precedence over all the other social economic activities that the country. No,
you should what
they still did a free SHS program. I'm not going to defend NPP, but they still did a free SHS program. They still built a few dams.
You see,
they still did some roads. We are not impressed with the output of the government, but it doesn't take away from the fact that they also done something.
Could that money be used to address some other challenges?
The cathedral is not being funded by the taxpayer.
Yeah, but that money could have been used to do something. That money could have been used to build roads somewhere.
Would the government go and solicit funds from church people to go and build roads? They take it from taxes.
I don't get your logic here.
The cathedral, to the best of my understanding, is being funded by donations from individuals and organizations. Right? It is not being built by central government. Saka, am I wrong?
So the land
government
yeah
actually give seed money
The land.
and the land
Our money
and the land and all the encumbrances.
Okay.
But the actual
From all encumbrances.
Which can be costed. Which can be costed.
I don't
the
understand.
actual building is being funded.
Yeah, the actual building. I mean, there's a committee that do.
Not the committee. How are they funding?
No, the actual building is a Christians themselves who are doing the.
Anyway, I mean that's just tangential.
So back to the issue of terrorism.
Yeah.
So in conclusion, I come back to the issue of ECOWAS playing, the member states in ECOWAS playing a more active role to support the economic and social development of Niger, Mali, and Chad.
Right.
Since these three countries are the ones that are breeding these terrorists in the sub-region. And also to address the issues of the Tuareg. But for a long time, these were allies of Muammar Gaddafi, and that's why I made reference to my being in agreement with Soprano. His relation, his friendship, his interest with the Tuareg was something that kept them contained up until the death of...
the assassination, please.
Sorry, the assassination of President Gaddafi. His ousting and assassination of President Gaddafi. So they still have a lot of work to be done. You know, they did some peace accord, I think the 2000s, the year 2000s, to try and get them. They started their self-actualization, self-determination thing in the 60s. And in 2000s, they made them sign some peace accord to be peaceful and all this. And then, but when Muammar Gaddafi exited, then they became a bit violent again. So they have to find some way of having to address their issues within that those three regions, countries, and then address issue of unemployment within the ECOWAS sub-region.
Okay, thank you. Well, let me bring to the attention of our viewers that there's another topic that I forgot to add, and I think it's very important that I add that particular story. It's an article that has been written and subsequently put out by Comrade Kweku Edu Jemfi Opoku, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, Kwesi Pratt Jr., and Dr. Charles Rekubrobe. And it's titled Bring Back Our Freedoms Now. I'm going to be reading the article out after Saka's submission in respect of this Niger issue. Saka? No, because we don't have time at all, please. Yeah. Saka.
We don't have, so me myself, I'll have to be very brief.
Yeah.
Because they've already spoken a lot about this. But the whole thing is that all these conflicts, especially from Niger and its neighbors, is as a result of poverty and greed on the part of certain leadership. You know, last Saturday, that was when this whole massacre happened. It was also the day that the Nigerians had their results announced. And there's a former president, you know, in this whole matter, who is called Mahama, but they call him Mahamine Osman. Oh, please.
Saka, proceed.
His name is Mahamani Osman.
Pronounce it properly.
Mahamani, but it's Mahama in French.
Mahamani.
Yeah,
Osman, that's the name. Okay.
Who is a former president of Niger.
What has he done?
Who caused a lot of troubles there and even led to intervention of ECOWAS and all that. He is one of the candidates who's contesting the election. The election happened to, you know, go. They will be doing this second round around February and all that. So I mean, there's a history, and the history looks like Ghana. No, you see, it looks like Ghana. But like I said, we don't have much time. But what I can just say is that Niger has a peculiar problem. Even though we all belong to West Africa and we have our problems, if you look at the Nigerians,
problem past problem.
Yeah, I mean, look, because they are landlocked country.
Yeah.
Inefficiency when it comes to agriculture, overpopulation. If you look at their land, and then the kind of resources they have, and the population census, it tells you that they really have a problem. There is poverty. The youth do not have work to do. So they are.
Are you describing Ghana?
No, I'm talking about Niger.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Niger.
It's similar to Ghana, the way you're describing it.
Yeah. So you could see that they don't have infrastructure. There's nothing. But what they have really is uranium and some few minerals, and those minerals are being hijacked by the Western powers.
Of course, and that is what is occasioning that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
So
of America,
and
the
French.
We're having this.
The French.
Yeah.
If you look at even Niger, they have the first coup d'etat that happened in around the 70s and all that. It was as a result of some of these few resources that they have, and some few people hijack it, especially their former president. But you know, Niger, even when it comes to even democracy, they started. I mean, their democracy started in 1981.
Okay.
I was in 1982, but it's just that for them the resources are not there for them to manage. The few resources that are there are greedy hands,
A few people.
you know, that are playing with almost everything, and that brings into a lot of insecurity.
All right.
And then the insecurity now, you know, a found root in centrism.
Yeah.
People use ethnic, you know, sentiment to claim what is theirs. People use religion to claim what is theirs and all that. So you could see the dynamics in Niger is becoming something else, and that is the reason why, because of the real poverty that plays in Niger, when you go and coax them with few dollars, you get the team you supporting you and doing what is not good. And that is the reason why the Taroj insurgency that actually, caused a lot of havoc in Niger was as a result of some of these things. We have Al-Qaeda having a field day, and we have other juntas that are doing all manner of things that are not, recommended for a country like Niger. And for me, it came as no surprise that it happened last week, that about 100 people had to die from 2 villages.
Yeah.
30 from one another and 70. It was a complete massacre. And any society that do not value the lives of its people, I don't think that is worth dying for. And that is the reason why ECOWAS must step in, because you cannot sit down and allow as many as 100 people to be massacred in the name of some, unreasonable reasons.
Yeah.
For me,
unjustifiable reasons.
Unjustifiable reasons.
Yeah.
For me, I think that my fellow colleagues have already said a lot about it.
Okay.
And this is just a small that I can add.
Thank you, Saka Salia, for that short but very succinct delivery. Thank you very much. Let me. I think I need to do this before I look at the other issues, because this is also very, very crucial. Now, bring back our freedoms now, and I want to read that article for us to form our impressions about this particular article that has been released. Over 25 years ago, I hope you were listening, we acted together with like-minded Ghanaians, including the current. I think if the producers can flash it on the screens so that the viewers can appreciate and also read with me. Over 25 years, we acted together with like-minded Ghanaians, including current President of the Republic of Ghana, as the Alliance for Change, to defend the rights to free assembly and free speech guaranteed by the 1992 Constitution. We organized the historic Kwame March of May 11th, 1995, first in Accra and later in other regional capitals, to assert our right to peaceful demonstrations. Today, in the wake of a fiercely competitive general election, which has witnessed the killing of innocent citizens and a creeping return of intimidation and acts of state brutalities, we, the unassigned, feel compelled to speak out loudly and clearly in defense of the rights to free assembly, free speech, and fearless choice of leader. We make this statement in these extraordinary times. We are again in dangerous times, and how we emerge will depend on the willingness of Ghanaians to stand up and be counted. We have been here before, and we triumphed. So we are confident that Ghanaians will rise again to defeat the forces of repression and gain our basic freedoms. For the very first time in the Fourth Republican dispensation, as many as 8 Ghanaians have lost their lives in election-related violence. Since December 7th, 2020, when the people went to polls to elect a president and members of parliament, national political discourse has been characterized by allegations of electoral fraud and a crazy rhetoric of threats of arson and death. These undoubtedly threaten the very foundations of our democratic experiment and portend no good for a people struggling to overcome serious economic and social challenges. From the onset of peaceful protests over the election results, those who have sought to express their concerns publicly have been met with opprobrium by sections of the media, state repression, and now death threats from those with a vested interest in preserving the status quo and sweeping the glaring malfeasance of the Electoral Commission under the rug. We note, in particular, that very high-profile leaders of the governing party have called on their members to burn the houses of leading members of the opposition and to kill their opponents. This development is particularly troubling to the extent that it sets our country on the dangerous path to Armageddon. We call on all the political players in the country to pull back from the brink and to find reasonable and practical ways of resolving all the disputes springing out of the December 7th elections. To this end, we welcome the referral of the major disputes and disagreements on elections to the Supreme Court and other relevant courts for adjudication and resolution. just as happened in 1995 when 4 Ghanaians were killed at the Kwame March, we demand the President Akufo-Addo establishes an independent body to investigate all acts of violence and threats of violence associated with the elections, especially the cause of the death of 8 innocent Ghanaians. These investigations must lead to prosecution of all those who will be identified as the purveyors of the senseless violence which characterized the elections. The state and its organs must demonstrate that the people of Ghana reject vigilantism in all of its forms. Last, but certainly not the least, we demand that the President takes immediate steps to return our dear nation to the practice of democracy we fought for together in 1995. Specifically, we ask for the immediate reversal of the creeping environment of the culture of silence, especially the erosion of fundamental freedoms of free assembly, free speech, and free expression. Mr. President, please put the leash back on the totally out of order security apparatus. Long live Ghana, long live democracy, freedom and justice. Long live the 4th Republic of Ghana, signed on Monday, the 4th of January 2021 by Kweku Edu-Jemfi Opoku, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo Kwesi Pratt Jr., Dr. Charles Reku Brobe. These are members of the Kwame demonstration.
But President Akufo-Addo didn't sign on to this.
President Akufo-Addo is not part. He used to be part of Kwame. So I think you want to take the wind out of my sail.
No.
So let me let you fire first, and then Gabriela will come, and then Saka will end. So let's.
Do you mind letting Saka?
I'm the moderator. let me.
I would have wished to start.
You want to start? I will let you.
But you
let's hold your guns. Maybe you can gather a lot more, arguments from their submissions.
No, I just wanted to. Okay, no, okay.
Yes.
Go.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kwame. Kwame, I am saddened that our illustrious leader, our great leader and great human rights lawyer, who was a foundational member of the Kwame, that fantastic pro-democracy organization that fought so strongly, so hard to lead us into this dispensation. Especially Honorable Mr. Dr. Reku Brobe, Yves.
Is he Mr. Doctor?
No, forgive me. He's a doctor.
Oh.
Dr. Yves Charles Reku Brobe. When I was a kid, Kwame, there was a radio program, and they asked me to mention all of his name, if I could remember. And I did remember, and I won a big prize, and I took my parents out to a hotel in Kumasi. It was a 3-course dinner for 3. It was fantastic. Just because I remember Dr. Charles Yves Reku Brobe properly. And he's a fantastic Ghanaian. I say so because of his patriotic stand for Radio I and the freedom of speech. You understand? Particularly, Kwame, if we are here today, able to, reach out to people across the globe, essentially, it's because of Dr. Reku Brobe. Radio I. God bless Dr. Reku Brobe. One day when I see him, I'll buy him a club beer if he takes it. But I think he's a fantastic Ghanaian, and I have massive respect for him. I want to be like him one day when I grow up. Kwame, so I also wanted to say that it's unfortunate that President Akufo-Addo, one of the founding members of the great Kwame, is no longer, associating himself with them, which is very sad for me. Is it because now he's operating in such high, falutin areas? Is that why he's ignored his compatriots now that everything, the salad is on the table? So we appreciate the Kwame founders, Honorable Kwesi Pratt. These are Ghanaians who stood up at a time when it was very dangerous to do so. Remember, if you are a young person and you probably do not remember or did not see, Chairman Rawlings was a fierce man. May he rest in peace. You understand? At that time, we used to call him Chairman Rawlings. You couldn't mess with Chairman Rawlings, so that he personally went to Radio I and confiscated the items. You see, and it was a dangerous time. So I'm just very happy that they have come together again, even without President Akufo-Addo, to insist on what they stand for, which is democracy, participatory democracy, with all its attributes, especially the right to freely assemble, as guaranteed by the 1992 Constitution. You understand? But these days, when you look at what is happening in the country, it appears several entities are finding several reasons why Ghanaians should not freely demonstrate, as guaranteed by the 1992 Constitution. So the police, in some instances, are saying they don't have enough resources. Really? I mean, whose problem is that? You understand? And then it made me certain critical questions. Is it really genuine what the police are saying, that they don't have enough resources? I'm wondering. Or is it the case that the ruling party is trying to sort of suppress people from expressing their, constitutional rights? You understand? I don't want to believe that the illustrious MPP with their human rights leader, Kwame Preko alumni, President Akufo-Addo, the human rights luminary, will, be against the right to assembly, as advocated, for by the 1992 Constitution. But I'm just very sort of sad at the what appears to me to be an attempt to stifle protest, guaranteed protest, protest guaranteed by the Constitution. And what I see happening is an attempt by the NPP, at least this is my opinion, to sort of suppress dissent until the president is sworn in January, I think January 7th, if I'm not mistaken.
That is so. You
understand? But I will support the right for any Ghanaian and every Ghanaian to demonstrate and exercise their constitutional rights any day, any time, regardless of what the powers that be might have in mind.
Let's look at the very fundamental ingredients that formed the basis for this release, right? And if you look at it, I've listed them down. 8 was, so they, of course, they made references to the lives that were lost in this particular election. Said 8 Ghanaians lost their lives, and they were very instructive. Said for the first time in the history of our democracy, 8 Ghanaians lost their lives. And then they also cited electoral fraud, alleged electoral fraud. They also cited crazy rhetoric of threats of arson and death on, opposition party leaders. And then also spoke about erosion of fundamental freedoms of free assembly, free speech, and free expression. And also culture of silence. And they admonished the president to put the leash back on the totally out of order security apparatus. These are very instructive, elements that they've identified relative to our democratic dispensation. And, and to them, these were the very reasons that necessitated their need, to rise up in defense of the deteriorating democracy at the time.
In the first place.
So on what basis are we bringing all of these back? When you, the president, were primus inter pares in the conversations that leading to the organization of the Kwame Preko demonstration and the subsequent benefit thereof. So on what basis would you now be the person to go against the very principles that you stood for which reason you were backed on that demonstration?
Yeah, Kwame, over the weekend, someone sent me a video. It was a video of President Akufo-Addo and the Vice President and the top hierarchy of the NPP. And they were in this hall and they were singing a song. And they were saying that we are poised to save Ghana. You see, the NPP, we are poised to say. So I was looking at the video and I was like, oh, okay. So the president is poised to save Ghana. That's what he is thinking. So that is, when you consider that if this is the way the president and his men are thinking, then they will do anything to stay in power. You understand? Which is my interpretation of what you've just read. That the reliefs that the gentlemen in question are talking about, they are seeking, that they are reiterating the need to protect, are items that used to be the core attributes of President Akufo-Addo. But now that he is sitting in the Flagstaff House and all the state is at his feet, and the salad is going on. High lifestyle. So now the president and his men say they are poised to save Ghana, and they want to be there by any means necessary. You understand? They don't care that 8 lives were lost. Remember, last major demonstration the New Patriotic Party had when they were in opposition. I think somebody lost an eye, and they wouldn't let us sleep. You understand? But 8 human lives have been lost, and President Akufo-Addo do the
He died years later.
but not on that.
The person who lost his eye
passed away.
No, granted. So I'm granting him that.
Sure.
No problem.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, we appreciate the fact that even the loss of one Ghanaian life,
Yeah.
you know, improperly lost, is a big loss to the taxpayer and the consolidated fund and etc. You understand? But 8 lives were lost. President Akufo-Addo has not come out to offer condolences to the 8 Ghanaians, at least to the best of my knowledge. You understand? You and I know that this election was fraught with irregularities and what some people call fraud. You understand? Because of legalities, I'm cautious to use certain words in my own right. But we all know that there were some this and that, these things occurring. Everybody knows. Okay, if it had occurred when the NPP was in opposition, you know what would be happening right now. Although they don't want anybody to demonstrate. It seems like that the president and his men think that, oh, Ghanaians should just sit down and just accept things as they are. But that is not our pedigree. You see, we, the descendants of Kwame Nkrumah, we are protesters. We protest and make things happen and change things. So we are intent on supporting the NDC, you know, to support them to protest, because the NDC at this point in time is working very hard to defend a fundamental constitutional right. If we don't go out and protest, very soon President Akufo-Addo and his men, it appears to me, will sell us, they'll say don't even come out and, you know, curfew and all those kinds of things. So it's very important that we support the National Democratic Congress as they work to defend this fundamental right to protest, which all of a sudden President Akufo-Addo and his men are against, as they seek to, you know, save Ghana in their own words. Kwame, you know, you talk about death threats and you know, to you know, important leaders in the opposition. You understand? Me, I'm very disappointed that even as we speak today, President Akufo-Addo's administration has not been able to bring closure to the case of Honorable J.D. Dankwa. You understand? So now we are hearing more death threats, and I'm very, very disturbed, because the track record of President Akufo-Addo in finding people who make threats and indeed commit crimes, heinous crimes against even important Ghanaians such as members of parliament, is nothing to write home about. After 4 to 5 years, still President Akufo-Addo, despite all the massive resources of Ghana at his disposal, including the consolidated fund, which is sitting at his right-hand side that he can just dip his hand inside, you know, and he's still not able to solve this small problem. I'm just disappointed. Have we brought closer to J.D. Dankwa's family? Please. And then let me continue, Saka. You have disappointment. The erosion of the freedoms of Ghana will not be tolerated. And some of us, the culture of silence, it will not work on us, because one of our ideological and mentors, one of our mentors is Honorable Professor Charles Albert Edubuahe. You understand? Who is the flag bearer against the culture of silence. You understand? So we walk in the footsteps of Professor Edubuahe when we go out to protest. And there's no way that President Akufo-Addo, despite the fact that he's the commander-in-chief and he has all the weapons in Ghana and the jet fighters and the armor cars, he will not be able to stop the people of Ghana from demonstrating. Gabi, I'll be joining you. You understand? I'll come out there so that in case President Akufo-Addo comes out there to stop us, I'll go and meet him and tell him, President, please, don't take our constitutional rights away from us. Thank you very much. I'll protect you, of course.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You, of course.
And in that particular release, they of course they cited a number of things which things are so enshrined in the Constitution. And Gabriel, I'm coming to you, but let me, before I come to you, read the general fundamental freedoms, right, which is found in the Constitution under Article 21 Clause 1 of the 1992 Constitution. Of course, the protection of this, the protection of which gave birth to the Public Order Act. Yeah. So let me no, Article 21. Anybody can find that. All persons shall have the right to A, freedom of speech and expression, which shall include freedom of the press and other media. B, freedom of thought, conscience, and belief, which shall include academic freedom, freedom to practice any religion and to manifest such practice, freedom of assembly, including freedom to take part in processions and demonstrations, freedom of association, which shall include freedom to form or join trade unions or other associations, national and international, for the protection of their interests. Information subject to such qualifications and laws are necessary in a democratic society. Freedom of movement, which means the right to move freely in Ghana, the right to leave and enter Ghana, and immunity from expulsion from Ghana. 2, a restriction on any person's freedom of movement by his lawful detention shall not be held. Okay, so it shall not be held to be inconsistent. There are some other nothing. Okay, right. So basically, okay, right. So okay. Okay, so Gabriela, let me come to you. I wanted to read a counter, because if you read 21 clause 4, you know, it gives you the restrictions. But let me come to you first for us to establish the facts, and then we'll look at the exceptions, please.
I think there's something about this life. The universe has a way of subjecting you to your own values, whether your values truly can stand or otherwise. Here, as we all know, and we're just saying, President Akufo-Addo is a member of this elite group of gentlemen, and we all know from his past records, here was the acclaimed human rights activist, human rights lawyer. He stood for the rule of law. He was a protector of the rule of law. All these acronyms around rule of law. Fast forward, this gentleman became president, and as we speak, even in the contested election, the NDC is prohibited from having a demonstration in Greater Accra. Our colleagues who went to the EC office about a month ago to express themselves, as is guaranteed in the Constitution, were shot at, tear gassed, arrested. Some found themselves in hospitals, and unfortunately there's a lady who has multiple fractures in her leg. Wow. And as a result of the stampede, when the police came attacking them in the demonstration. These are laws that were given to us to express ourselves, and with all good intentions, to rather create more harmony between us. Because if we are allowed to speak our minds freely, if we are allowed to assemble freely and say what we want to say, but to act within a peaceful and a non-disruptive way, we don't destroy anybody's property, we don't destroy people's lives, but we get the message across, and we can even change things through suggestions. Now, Mr. Akufo-Addo, for some strange reason, or for whatever reason, since coming into office, we've had journalists who, if you write the wrong things about him, you'll be forced to go and retract. If you say the wrong things about him, you retract. In fact, there are even political commentators who, if you say the wrong thing, you'll be forced to retract. In fact, if you're not like the crowd, they'll send you a text message to remind you to retract. Mama, sorry, Kwame. Currently, as we speak, our MPs, are we discussing that topic, or we are jumping that topic?
No, our
MPs went on a peaceful walk to present a petition to the EC. And yesterday they were held before the court. What you just read from the Constitution guarantees free procession just to present a petition. According to the police, they flouted the Public Order Act. Now it's as if there's this whole culture of suppression being enforced by this administration. And the unfortunate thing is, when you complain, when you sort of assert yourself, they'll tell you go to court. The least thing, they send you to court or you go to court to find clemency for yourself. This culture of silence, I think, is not going to help us. And I'm very glad that they came out, they've identified that if we're not careful, that's exactly where we'll be heading. So it's better that they force, with this write-up, to compel that the right things are done. For the first time in this country's history, you see armed police and military men aiming their guns at civilians. When everybody knows that in the proper training of security personnel, they are taught not to point their guns at unarmed civilians. They only point their guns when there's armed combat and they have to respond. But for the first time in Techiman South, we saw our own security personnel, or what looks like our security personnel, in uniform, shooting into crowds and killing innocent Ghanaians. Up to date, I'm yet to hear if President Akufo-Addo has even made mention of them in any utterance or in any sentence publicly, or even in a write-up anywhere. You see, this our constitution has served us very well for the past 30-something years. And like so many democracies that have been built over time, it is when we allow people to be able to express themselves freely, share ideas, do things that promote harmony amongst ourselves, that is when we push our democracy forward. We respect each other's views and not try to suppress individuals or organizations or political opponents. On today is 5th. On the 7th, or on the 6th, when is the next parliament being sworn in? On the 6th. There was a release yesterday that there is going to be a deployment of 6,000 police personnel just for swearing in. Why do we need so many police personnel on the streets of Accra? No, but why do we need 6,000 police?
To bring them so that people can go and protest.
Are you a security person? Let them.
No, but why do you need so many people?
So
just for swearing in. What are you afraid of?
So what's your problem?
No, what are you afraid of?
What is your problem?
What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of?
What are you also afraid of?
We're not afraid of
that 6,000 people are going to
That's
be.
why you should bring 6,000.
Because
look, I have an MP going to be sworn in, and this person was telling me that in fact, if it wasn't compulsory, this individual will not even go. What do you need 6,000 armed police?
So, but why are you edgy?
We are not edgy.
So
we are asking
why are you uncomfortable with that?
Saka, if you were in opposition and you were in government and you heard that we were even deploying 5,000, would you question why we need 5,000
I will not question that.
at the premises of Parliament just for a swearing-in?
I know there's a reason.
Because usually when they are going to do these swearing-ins, they block the what they call that road, this main liberation road. You know, they have so many barriers to block. They'll block it from airport. Then they'll go and block it at Atamil's highway. They block the whole periphery. So you don't even allow cars to enter without proper accreditation. That was how it was done in the past. And they didn't need 6,000 police people there.
So, President, how many police do you need? Okay, suggest how many police we need.
I'm not here to suggest how many, but we definitely know it was not 6,000. Anyway, Kwame, things have changed, obviously. And for some strange reason, it is changing for the worse. And the sooner that we put a halt to what is going on,
right,
and allow people to be liberated and to feel free to enjoy the liberties enshrined in the Constitution and guaranteed by the 19th Constitution, the better it is for us as a country and as a people. We still have a lot ahead of us to achieve, to solve, to do. And the least of these, the better for all of us.
Okay. Saka, I'm coming to you, but let me predicate my question to you on this, that the rights to freedom of assembly and association are essential prerequisites to the realization of any democratic system of government. A close examination of the 1902 Constitution of Ghana shows that it represents the people's determination to abandon dictatorial systems of governance in favor of the democratic system. And this includes the rejection of police state strategies wherein government machinery determines the rights that should be permitted and those which should not be. Like erstwhile colonial administrations, dictatorial regimes tend to impose prior restraints on the enjoyment of basic rights of the people. This discourse should be understood from the perspective that disorderly assembly and possession, which are likely to jeopardize the peace and order of society, should be broken up. And it is instructive because this particular quote flows from the case that MPP took to court, MPP versus IGP, which was for the court to make a determination whether or not the rights so enshrined in the Constitution as per Article 21 of the Constitution, right, which is a natural right, you needed to have some prior notification, if you will, to be able to exercise that right. And the court was very instructive in that particular case, and which led Parliament to go to Parliament, and which led the legislature to go to Parliament and then pass the Public Order Act, because the court was very instructive that the fundamental right of people to join any political party or any association, the fundamental right of people to demonstrate and protest, was so enshrined in the Constitution that it was a natural right that was given to the people, and therefore nobody should restrict the people if they wanted to embark on doing. That is why people loved the MPP, because in part one can safely assume that you guys fought for the advancement of the democracy that we are so enjoying now, and I'll give that to you guys. You know, the rule of law, etc. You guys fought for that, but it appears in recent times. From what we are seeing and gathering, the narrative that we have come to know, the legal appreciations that we've given to your political party relative to all the myriad of cases, MPP versus GBC, MPP versus IGP, etc., is fast eroding, and nobody knows why. I don't know whether it's because of the thirst for power, or you're wanting to stay in power for forever. But the presumption here is that which you so fought for, are fast eroding. And why is that, Saka? And I think that finds expression in the release by some leading members of your own party who were part of the demonstration that revolutionized the dictatorial system we had in Ghana, some time ago, prior to 1995. Sir, let's hear from you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So you're saying that these people were part of the group that actually rebelled against the dictatorial tendencies of the NDC in the past, because Kwame was in 1985 when NDC was in power.
I think we are not in disagreement.
No problem. But after ravages of time, these group of people have dismembered. They are no longer together for reasons best known to them, because of ideological differences. Oh, let me go. When you were talking, I kept quiet. Yeah, because look, there was a convergence of idea, of a purpose, and the purpose was to help fight dictatorship under the NDC government then. Indeed, it was fought and won. But you see, after time has elapsed, and then people decided that they will go their individual ways. Today, as we are speaking, you mention those individuals as being part of the fold of the MPP. But you cannot say the same today. If you are mentioning the members of MPP, I don't think that Nyao Temokolo's name will be very prominent now.
He's not a founding member of your party?
I mean, he was a leading member of the party, but after his nephew or whatever became the president, he jettisoned his ideology and pitched camp with them. Same with Charles Rokubrebe. Mr. Koshe, we all know.
That what?
I mean, that he's no longer, you know, with the MPP. He was with the MPP when we had the Great Alliance, you know, that the CPP itself formed with the MPP. Since then, he's been doing his own things. So this, don't ever see that these are people that are coming, that are of the fold of the MPP.
Let me grant you that.
These are individuals.
Let me grant you that. On what basis? Okay, secondly.
Knowing their background and their adversarial nature or stand against this government, they can create and manufacture anything to let it look reality. As we are speaking, what I read through the what do you call it, the press release or whatever you want to call it, I was just laughing. Because I did not even see, you know, the need for such a thing. As if Ghana, we are on the brink. I saw them mentioning Armageddon. I saw them saying all manner of things that to me do not even exist at all. It's just like give a dog a bad name and hang it. They have fallen out of the MPP ideology, and therefore another who is at the helm is now, you know, the irresistible targets of their.
I think there's a certain bottle of confusion in your mind.
There's no any confusion.
There's a big bottle of
confusion. There's no confusion.
First of all, the Kumipreko, the formation of Kumipreko.
No, I'll come to all those.
Not predicated on the principles of MPP. And I think you need to get that clear. No, hold on. Let's. But
you are here saying that the MPP did so much, and you were giving it to us and all that.
I'm saying that in the law.
Did I mention
in the law court? Hold on.
I never mentioned Kumipreko here.
I predicated. Hold on, senior. Let's have a very intellectual conversation.
No problem.
I'm saying that for the protection of the right of people, so enshrined in the constitution.
Yeah.
The MPP fought a lot.
Yes.
In our courts to ensure that right was respected.
Yeah.
That's the point I'm making.
Yes.
And I'm saying that it was on the base. Well, it also springs out most of the cases and the Kumipreko, you know, and what the people stood for. Of course, they believed in something. They decided to join forces and fight against, you know, oppression at the time. And that's what I'm saying. That is a separate conversation. The court is also a separate conversation. Now, I just want you to appreciate the fact that the people who came together to form the group, you know, that led the Kumipreko demonstration did not do so on the basis of an MPP ideology. They did so on the basis of the protection of the rights of the people of this nation.
Kwame, you see, when we are talking about MPP and Rokubrebe and all that, Rokubrebe is a founding member of the, what was the name? Ghana some movement. And he actually even stood as a presidential candidate.
Saka, I just want to retract the statement that you made about how these people went on Kumipreko on the basis of, you know, a certain ideological relationship with MPP. I think that is not the basis for which
I am saying that
they came together as freedom fighters, if you will.
Yeah, that's the reason why I'm saying that. Yeah. I first of all told you that it was a convergence of ideas, of a cause. You believe in something, you also believe in the same thing, and you decided that you fight it together. And that was how Kumipreko happened. Everybody had the same idea. We wanted to fight what do you call it? A dictatorship. We wanted to fight restrictions by decree by one person and all that. We wanted the constitution to work. And that actually culminated in some of the agitations in the past. really was about VAT. It was just about VAT, that the rate as at that time was too high, and therefore we were fighting for it to be reduced. And indeed, it was reduced. If the rate had started from the then 15 or 17.5 then, today it would have been like 20 or 30%. But it was fought, and the rate was reduced, and it was stopped and reintroduced, and the rate was reduced. So I am saying that Kwame Preko was not about liberties that we are talking about here. But you see, please.
So you see, I'm missing the point. That's why I say you have some confusion in your mind.
No, there's not any confusion.
No, there is.
There's not any confusion.
Yeah, but
the
press release has even helped you in stating the reasons why Kwame Preko demonstration was staged. It has helped you because at the time there wasn't proper freedom of expression. The media was gagged. There was no voice of dissent. You couldn't even disagree with anything at all. So they stated that this formed the basis for which they decided to embark on that demonstration, and they stated it here. Yeah. You understand? And they even make reference to the
was not about VAT.
No, I'm not saying it was not about VAT. But what was VAT? VAT was introduced. People were prevented from even questioning why VAT was introduced.
Who was questioning? I mean, please. I mean, let's not even go there. Kwame Preko was about VAT.
It's good you didn't start.
Kwame Preko was about VAT. But you see, let's not even go there. Let's even tackle the statement itself.
Yeah.
The statement talk about liberties as the right to assemblage, the right to that all those rights are being curtailed by a so-called human rights activist and all that. It is not true. These are figments of their own imagination.
I don't think Nana was described as a so-called human rights activist. I think he was described as the president of Ghana in that release.
She did that.
Okay, so but you were referring
to she did that.
No, but was he not? People always reference him to human rights.
But he was you are making references to I just want us to state the facts as they are. No, hold on, please, respectfully. I'm not interjecting. I didn't want to interject, but because you said the so-called, I just want.
No, but she said that, and she has not disagreed with me.
But you were referring to the statement. That is why I'm saying that in the statement they didn't describe Anado as a so-called.
No, but they describe him in all manner of terms.
No, they said Mr. President.
They describe his actions with all manner of terms. And to say that 8 people died, and then you are, and he's quiet. The president has never been quiet. The last time I sent you a text message when some people were creating impression as if nothing is being done about it. Some people are in court as we are speaking for some of these killings. And you gloss over all these things and talk as if people died, the president is sleeping and taking salad and not bothered to, do anything about it. Even national security, I mean, in Ablekuma West, in Ablekuma Central, the man who actually, shot and somebody died as a result of that is in a police custody, facing justice. And why would anybody talk as if the president, you are talking about 8 people, and these 8 people that we are talking about include people who snatched ballot and was running away and was shot by the police. And you want us to go and investigate some of these glaring issues that nobody needs any investigation about. You are talking about people who were incited to go to collection center and cause mayhem by John Dramani Mahama and his cohort. That the NDC supporters should mass at the collection centers in Tajima South. Even in the face of provocation, the military and the police actually tried to disperse this crowd. No matter what they did, they will not budge. They were shooting warning shots. These people will not budge.
So they should fire the crowd.
The
police doesn't know crowd control.
Listen.
The police at the point.
They don't know crowd control.
Listen, the police at the point had to even defend.
You had every cause to complain when one person was shot in your demonstration. But you are comfortable with the police shooting it.
Why are you uncomfortable?
No, I'm not comfortable. Because you see, listen. Let's not be hypocritical with this.
You are being hypocritical.
What is good for the goose is good for the gander. You sat here and said that one person died when you embarked on your demonstration.
Kwame.
But police shooting into the crowd for people to die is not a problem.
Kwame, when we did the Let My Vote Count demonstrations, and then the police snared us within a certain area, the police did not even want us to go. We were running helter-skelter looking for escape route to run. The police actually, prevented us from doing so. Listen. It's different from civilians attacking the police.
How did they attack
We
the
were
police?
running away from the police, but in this case, in Stachima staff,
Who attacked the police?
I mean, look, did you see the video?
We all saw the video. That's why I'm surprised that
Did
they're
you
saying.
see one shots and the people were still coming?
But did they attack
What
the
were they
police?
coming to
They were
do?
not
Did they
coming.
attack the
What were they coming to do?
They were protecting their right.
Protecting
When you
what?
cast your ballot.
No. What?
They were
So, you see,
protecting. They
They don't have any rights. Let me tell you.
They were defending the
Why are
constitution.
you pushing? Why you people were talking?
No.
I allow you.
I don't know.
No. Listen. Oh.
Of Ghana.
What constitution?
I'm very disappointed.
Let me listen. Oh, Kwame, see, when you do that, when you see, I have a lot to say. But you see, when you do that, a lot of the things that I want to say, I will not be able to say.
That means it was not pure.
I'm saying. You have nothing to say. You have completely nothing to say.
So, nothing to say. I'm waiting to do so I say what I want to say.
Kwame, what right has anybody got to say that the whole world, you should all amass at the collection center? All of you should go there. Meanwhile, if you look at, please, if you look at the CI 127 that we promulgated, it explained clearly that after the coup, the political parties will have representatives who converge at the collection center with the pink sheets, and then do the calculation, and that is where they will have to sign even the Form 1C.
But what's that got to do?
Oh, listen. Every political party must have a representative.
Okay.
The CI 127 did not say that all political parties should entreat on their supporters worldwide to converge at the. Oh, please.
What? You're calling intellectual.
No.
Right now.
No.
Allow you to commit intellectual.
Let me comment.
surprised.
Let me comment. Then you go and bury later. You see, I'm saying that the NDC actually did wrong by saying that everybody should converge at the collection center and cause problem.
What problem?
If you converge and you become nuisance and you become look, I mean,
I'm surprised.
And now we are.
Hold on, let me make this point.
So I'm saying that if MPP had taken that route by also massing up at every police collection center
But they were
and
there.
causing confusion and asking that the collection, the electoral officer, that the returning officer should not do the declaration. Do you know the chaos that would have caused in this country?
No, but please.
If we had also taken that route the NDC took by saying that we will not allow the electoral commissioner at the returning officer. Please let me talk.
No, you're making.
Let me talk. We saw the video.
No. The
Please,
can stop
Kwame,
the EC
you
from
see,
doing their job.
but that is what happened.
Who? They stopped the EC.
Yes.
The police were there to
That
stop
is
them.
what happened. When even the lieutenant officer was going to announce, they took away the paper and ran away with it.
Why didn't they arrest them?
Why didn't
They arrest them, yeah.
So when they arrest some of them, then you come and sit here and say that the people have freedoms.
So when somebody
freedom
does
not to be
something
arrested.
because of me, you let the person
Freedom
go.
not to be arrested. And look at what these MPs did. And do you think that Ghanaians should be proud of their behavior?
What did the MP
What the
do?
MPs
No,
do?
hold on.
And
What
you
did
see,
they do
and
then?
when we talk, they said when we talk, they say, oh, procession. It was a procession. What do they mean by procession?
Walk.
You see, procession. You see, if you even look at the dictionary definition of
I said
procession.
they are questioning.
Listen. No.
Don't say that.
You see, this NDC people, you see, we have to put them in their place. When you say procession, this one was not a demonstration, it was just a procession. Procession is done by religious, only as a religious ceremony or celebration. What were they doing, those NDC MPs? Because look, we have laws. The laws of this country. Look, there's no any right that is not restricted.
Absolute.
That's absolute.
Yes, yeah.
If we have the right to demonstrate, there's a right to demonstrate. But there are laws governing that right. And that is the reason why the Public Order Act 491 actually stipulates the ways of doing so. It says that if you are doing so, if you want to embark on demonstration, you want to embark on a gathering of such nature, what you do is that you notify the police. And by notifying the police, not just notification, there is even a time period that you have to do. A 5-day prior to the event day.
But they notify the police.
Oh, listen, I'm coming. 5 days.
Saka, we know all of this.
Listen.
Sure.
But if you have not done that, Haruna Iddrisu and his people did not do that. What Haruna Iddrisu is now telling us is that, they are hiding behind what the NDC had written some time ago, that they will be doing, what do you call it? They will be doing demonstrations. And that letter that was written, they also can now cover.
Kwame, can I respond to him?
Oh, please. What is your problem?
No, we've been talking for a
Let me talk,
way.
please. You're not the host.
But of course.
So let me talk.
Go ahead.
Don't be doing that. If you do that, I can do better than that. So if you are saying that NDC has ever written a letter to the police, and then we are taking ourselves to cover that once it was written about a month or so ago, we are also doing it today. That letter takes care of our processing. You are lawmakers. You should not be as people who break the law with impunity. And they did that. They broke the law, and even when the police were asking them not to jump the barricades that the police put, they defied all that. And this will must have their
All right, thank you.
Kwame.
Thank you.
You don't stop me just like that.
Oh.
At least you give me some time to wrap up. I'm in the middle of a sentence.
Wrap up for me, sir.
So I'm saying that they cannot do that because they themselves are lawmakers. And if you decide to break the laws and then now you hide behind, some certain freedoms and you let the Kubrobe and Co. and Kwesi Pratt and Co. write and create impression as if Nana Dodonka Akufo-Addo is doing something extraordinary that is untoward, I think that is not true. And to even hide behind Parliament by saying that you cannot write to them, directly to come, because if Parliament is in its way, if you are a parliamentarian, you are on your way from Parliament or going to Parliament, you cannot be. These are people who decided to break the law. The police have written to you, go and answer the questions. Go to the court so that we know that you were right. But if you say that you won't go to court, what you will do is that you will sit somewhere and grant interviews. I think that the NDC lawlessness has now become,
my fear in all of this, Saka, that we are setting a precedent that will be very disastrous in the nearest foreseeable future. Because I have never in the history of this nation seen members of parliament who have decided to go on any process, even if it's a demonstration.
It's unprecedented.
Let's agree that's a demonstration. Stopped by the police as though they are some hoodlums or something.
No, but they are
hold on.
being hoodlums.
Hold on.
Because look, hold on. Okay, you go on.
Do you genuinely think that these members of parliament who represent their constituencies, right, will embark on a demonstration and cause chaos? The only reason why, you see, I'm getting something wrong. The only reason why the Public Order Act requires some notification to the police is so that the police can provide guidance for the people who are protesting and for passerbys.
Yeah.
Right? So if these people, for instance, had gone and had caused any confusion, had broken things, and that one, you can simply say that, well, you didn't even notify us in the first place, and you've gone to cause confusion, you've destroyed public property, you've done this, you've done that, so we are arresting you. That's a different conversation. You see, the Constitution is the #1 law of the land. You can have a Public Order Act. If the Public Order Act is subservient to the Constitution of this nation. The Constitution of this nation in Article 21 is very sacrosanct. It says that your right to protest or demonstrate is an inalienable right.
It's not negotiable.
Yeah.
So my informing the police, right, does not preclude me. Kwame Owusu, that's why Mr. Paul went to a one-man demonstration. Did he need to notify anybody in this country?
He notified
the police.
Yeah.
Go and ask him whether he notified
them.
The point
He notified them.
You see,
If you don't
but
know.
did the police provide protection for him?
Yeah, they did.
Where?
They did.
Where?
You go on.
He was even prevented by the same police from going to take the pictures. The point is, you see, we are treading on a dangerous path, and I can appreciate. I can appreciate. No, Saka. Listen, we are all Ghanaians. I am not an NDC communicator. Okay. I will never be an NDC communicator. I'm not an NDC communicator. I will never be an NDC. But when it comes to the protection of the Constitution, I think that we must be united in defending that right that is so enshrined in the Constitution. And Saka, if it were done to your party, I will protect you. I will speak for you. The Public Order Act is not bigger than the Constitution.
Listen. I am shocked that you said that the only reason why the Public Order Act is obeyed is for protection of the demonstrators and then people who are standing by. That is not the only reason.
What are the reasons?
There are purposive reasons.
What are the reasons?
Listen, the Public Order Act is not just in vacuum.
What are the reasons?
Listen,
state the reasons. Don't come and give me a lecture. Don't come and give me a lecture. He's running around in circles. No, you don't have time for a lecture. I'm saying that the other reasons.
I will give you. So then have patience and listen to the reasons.
I don't want to have.
Don't force me to give the reasons.
But don't give me a lecture before you give me the reasons.
No, I will give you the lectures.
No, I don't. Then I have to move on.
I will give you the lecture. Listen.
Then I have to move on.
I am saying.
State the reasons. State the reasons. State the reasons.
Let me talk, Kwame. Don't do that.
No, but you.
I don't like what you are doing.
I've given you your time.
I am saying that
you are done.
Then let me talk.
You are done. No.
Ask a question.
Saka, you are done.
So let me give you the reasons.
I will ask you a question.
Let me give you the reasons.
I've never
so you cannot sit here and talk anyhow and think that.
Why am I talking anyhow?
No, you cannot say that. That is the only reason. And now that we want to.
So state the other reason.
I will state the reason. But you don't tell me how I should do it.
But you can't also give me a lecture.
Don't tell me the way I should do it.
I am telling you that.
Let me tell you the reasons.
Saka,
if you don't know, I will lecture you on that.
You're not.
So don't tell me that I should actually lecture you.
Saka is beating
so listen to me.
State is running the clock.
I will state. I will tell you.
State.
State is the same.
Listen.
Listen.
I am saying that number one, the Public Order Act is not for only the protection of the standard by, those who stand by or observe, and then the protesters. Number one, because the police know very well, because they are anybody who want to go on demonstration actually notify the police. It means that there could be other rival groups. That is one reason who might also be doing demonstration. So the police can then tell you, okay, don't take this route for A reasons or B reasons.
What does it eventually?
Listen.
What does it eventually? It's not to protect other people. It's not to protect other people.
For national security, national security, protection of property, protection of lives, and all those things. There are reasons why the police must always be in the know. Another reason is the time period. They do not say that if you get up today, you write to the police and then go and do the demonstration. The police are giving you a 5-day period. The act has actually asked that prior to the event, 5-day period. That 5-day period, there's a reason why it has been given. Within that period, the demonstrators and the police would have to engage. When you do the engagement, then the police can now give you the go-ahead to take the routes, and then the police will then guide you through those routes.
The police.
So it is not just in vacuum.
Hold on.
It's not just in vacuum.
Hold on.
Right to the police and then go away.
You see, we are not speaking. We are saying the same thing. We are saying the same thing. I'm asking you a question. I'm asking this question.
You talk as if it is a right that is inalienable right. It is a right that is inalienable, and therefore you can do it your own way. That is not how
your right to vote in this country.
Actually, that is how
it's an inalienable
right. But there are ways you have to be a registered voter. You must be sound mind. You have to reside in the area to vote.
Is it or is it not?
You have to reside in the area to vote.
Is it or
you have to attain the age of voting.
But is it?
Even though it's a right, you cannot say that anybody are talking.
Is it an inalienable right? That's the question I'm asking you. Is it or is it not?
It is
not
for everybody.
But is it an inalienable right?
Not for everybody.
So the right to vote.
Those that do not have the opportunity to vote,
can they come and say that
they have an inalienable right?
But if you don't have the right to vote, what are you going to do?
So you can also have the right to demonstrate. But if you don't have if you don't follow the right channel, that right will be taken away from you.
Kwame, can I, you see, Saka is saying stuff here.
I'm surprised because you see,
why would you be surprised?
The Public Order Act, you see,
somebody violated
hold on.
And you said that it's his right to violate the act.
Is the act bigger than the Constitution?
No, but the Constitution itself will give you the omnibus rights. Then that right, the operation of that right will now come.
Thank you very much, Saka. I think you've done your best.
Will not come with an act.
You've done your best defending this. 1 minute for you guys, and I'll wrap
What
up.
I'm trying to say is that this morning, Saka is clearly full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. He's just been making a lot of, wrong noise. You understand? The time period, okay, that you are talking about, that you have to tell the police in 5 days. These are the processes that you ideally should follow. But when elected representatives of the people of this country feel, let me land, Saka. Yes, they are. When you are elected and you are honorable, they are different laws. Because they different law from us. Listen, they even have immunity. So yes, they are different. Their constitution, when you are elected as an MP, hold on, Saka. Immunity. No, they do have parliamentary immunity. No, they don't have any immunity. Listen, Saka. The only immunity is when they are saying here. It's not an immunity. What I'm saying here is that is not immunity for prosecution. You can even go on demonstration. Kwame, you can go on demonstration, in honoring the constitution, okay? Abiding by the constitution. I believe you can go on a demonstration even without announcing it to the police. They can come and arrest me. No, hold on. That's the point. They can arrest me, but they cannot stop me from demonstrating. Well, they can take me to prison, but they cannot stop me from exercising my inalienable constitutional right. I'm going to be demonstrating tomorrow, so you get the IDP to come and arrest me. I'll not send him a letter. Now, you see, the whole point is that the whatever you are talking about with regards to getting permission from the police, it's subservient to the constitution.
Nobody say permission.
You understand that? Essentially, well, notification,
and the police now prevents you from demonstrating. Haven't you seen that? The police can genuinely decide to prevent you from demonstrating.
Yes.
And then the police now tells you that you can only demonstrate after the 7th of January.
Which notification does not just.
I don't want us to get down both in the I think it's becoming noisy. But my argument is that we should not get to a point where now the police would have to determine when somebody can demonstrate and when somebody cannot demonstrate. Right? But so if it suits them, if it suits them, they say go. If it doesn't suit them, they say don't go. And I'm saying this on the basis of, and I'm recording this particular video, I'll put it somewhere, and I'll play it back to you when you're in opposition. And when you decide to go back on, whether it is infinity, definitely one day you guys.
I was landing in a sentence.
But make your point. Yes, I'll play it back to you. When you are embarking on a demonstration, I will play the same thing to you.
You see, one key thing he said that I seriously disagree with is that he says that they got Honorable Kwesi Pratt and the gentleman involved, Honorable Kwesi Pratt, and hold on, Dr. Reku Bobe, Nyahotamaklu to write. I think that is very insulting. Excuse me, to say that a man of the pedigree and character, okay, of Dr. Kwesi Pratt, of Dr. Reku Bobe, of Nyahotamaklu, that some people will come and tell them to go. That's what you said, that they let Kwesi Pratt write. No, you did. But you said it. I think you should withdraw that. It's insulting. Take note that Dr. Kwesi Pratt, Dr. Reku Bobe, Nyahotamaklu, Doctor. You did say that. If you want to take it back, do so with integrity. The point I'm making here is that these three gentlemen, Kwesi Pratt, Dr. Nyahotamaklu, Dr. Reku Bobe, these are friends of President Akufo-Addo in the same class of the same ilk. These are presidential material people. Yeah, how can you tell me that these people? No. Me, not yet. You cannot put me there. I cannot compare to Dr. Reku Bobe. Dr. Reku Bobe is more experienced and more exposed than I am. Like I told you, I hope that when I grow up, maybe I'll be like him.
Don't do this.
You understand? But these are. In terms of president, let me make my point, Saka.
You also call it
Saka. Let me make my point. I'm just saying here that it is insulting and denigrating for you to say that Dr. Reku Bobe, Kwesi Pratt, and Dr. Nyahotamaklu would be used as a tool by some people. These are people who created and formed Akufo-Addo. They are just like Akufo-Addo. It is only by the grace of God. You understand? And you know that and that Akufo-Addo is president. He's very, very lucky that Green Street couldn't break through. Now he's president, and now you are sitting here saying that hold on. Sitting here saying that Kwesi Pratt, somebody has what told him to go and write a letter. I mean, are you serious? That's what you said. Now, if you think that you want to withdraw that, you can do so gentlemanly. You did say that. You understand? But don't come in. The point I'm making here is that it is disrespectful for you to assume that.
See, this guy just repeating the same
Hold on, respectfully.
I just want to rebut a few things he said. He made mention of a young man who lost his eye in their demonstration.
And died subsequently.
I want to place this on record that he died whilst his government was in power.
Okay.
Through the wounds that you were inflicted.
Through the neglect.
Yeah, through the neglect. Through the wounds that you were inflicted.
Through the neglect.
So you're saying that in law, we say take your victim as you find them. So they did not cause the injury that led to his death. You
said him on demonstration. Kwame, one of the examples they cited was about a certain gentleman who took to some media space and threatened to burn down houses of some of our leading party officials. Up to date, nobody has invited this gentleman to the CID.
Which gentleman?
Japan. This gentleman to the CID or any of the security agencies. You had a chairman, one of their party chairmen in Ashanti region, Chairman Wuntumi, asking his followers that if they meet any people, they should beat them. The other one is Bono or Bonga Hafo, that one who talks by heart. He also had his own share to display. The police. So
what did he
the police.
Because
the
you cannot say own share to display.
The police.
What did she
The police did not hear any of these things and invite them. There was a young man who took to his Facebook Live, a journalist with a Power FM, ranting. Within 24 hours, that guy was sent to CID for investigation. Why is this animal farm operations kind of society we are building? So I side very much with the writers of this paper.
All right, thank you.
Was it the same Dr. Nawata Moklo who said that if Akufo-Addo becomes president, he can't sleep? Or was the other Mr. Kumsin?
Well, let me read a few messages that have come through on my Twitter handle. On my Twitter handle, which is at Kwame Owusu. So you can send your messages to me on Twitter as well, Kwame Owusu. So Saka knows better, yet hiding behind his party to do the unneeded, he says. This one says, I'm very pleased how you are handling the show. Very, very educative, Kwame. Thank you. Buchi Philip from Kita. Ifo Kwame, Happy New Year. And to your co-workers. Ghanaians must wake up as citizens of this country. I haven't seen any country where police have sued a whole parliament, minority in parliament.
Some minority.
Okay. Kwame Owusu, so it's unbelievable. Well, you say, good morning. I'm very disappointed that you couldn't devote 2 minutes of your time to discuss the reduction of the police salary in December. Oh, yes, I should have done that. I apologize. Please, Pan African Television isn't airing. Okay, we are back. So these are messages on Twitter. You can send me your message on Twitter as well at Kwame Owusu. So I'll read. Well, today is the birthday of the head of the newsroom, George Venet. Today is your birthday. Happy birthday to you, sir. Agent Grace. Dipku Ishmael in Wa Traffic says, share to your champion. It's clear the president is shivering and has started campaigning even before the Supreme Court will start sitting. President Akufo-Addo, you know deep down in your heart that you never had 50+1 vote. Yet you want to build a cathedral with stolen verdict. Champion, 6,000 security personnel to be deployed to Parliament for the fixed swearing in of Akufo-Addo. What at all are they afraid of? He is indeed the people's choice. If he is indeed the people's choice. Champion, is Saka really a law student? I don't know if he's in law. I'm not sure he's in a law school because this one, the way he's turning the constitution upside down, I'm not sure.
But
you've started.
I won't disclose.
Okay, you've started. All right. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum salam. Please go to Asa Kasalia on my behalf that is he a Muslim and Allah fearing a mu'minin? What is that? Mu'minin of the Islam religion. What's that? Mu'minin.
What is that?
I don't know. If it is true, then he should remember what awaits him on Judgment Day. Saka has heard that all his life. I'm not sure he is really perturbed. But that's what he believes in. And I think that, we should allow him state his position and defend his position. Your name is Sise of Obuasi Danso. Thanks and goodbye. Goodbye to you too, sir. Let me go to Facebook now and read some of the messages on Facebook this morning. Where is it? Okay. Saka.
Yes.
We are together.
Yeah.
In Rwanda, they say Tirikumge. I have to take people to 185 messages on Facebook. Wow. Saka makes your program unattractive. KOD. Henry Anderson. Well, differences in opinion. I think you should accommodate that. Good morning, Kwame. Tell Saka to stop his argument. He doesn't know what to say. Henry Anderson says, sure, they should. Okay, he should stop. No, you see that stop talking and go home because you can't speak the truth. I'm sick to see the MPP man. In fact, the MPP man sitting there is a liar. He's not telling the truth.
You can decide to.
I've seen those of you who are watching. Oh, landlord Bolga D-Line, long time. Charlie, happy New Year, landlord Bolga D-Line. I've seen your messages from Dubai everywhere. UK.
So when they say
everywhere.
A liar, what does that mean?
Thank you very much.
What about lied here?
Your messages this morning.
So what is it?
This one also says, Kwame, I don't think Saka Salia will ever speak the truth, and all MP communicators, they are all liars. Alhaj Kedin from Tamale sent in this message. This one says, Kwame, truly you enjoyed the conversation. I'm enjoying the conversation this morning with. Oh, you enjoyed the conversation this morning with the herbal products. Please don't invite Saka again. Sure, who told you? I'll invite him, Papa. Twitter, are you sending your messages in? Okay, I've seen one. Sway Haxon on Twitter says, Saka, do you honestly believe that it's the fault of the victims in the Teshiman that they got shot and killed? Candice says, please, Saka, tell him to go and update us about what is being done about Kenya Japan's threat to the lives of JDM. This one, you simply only tagged me, Kwame Owusu, but I didn't add any message to it. So for those of you who are on Twitter, kindly follow me. I lost my Twitter handle, so I've lost all my followers. So just follow me so that I can go back to my 10,000s and my 11,000s because, Charlie, we needed to be able to put out a lot of information. Also, you can follow me on Facebook as well, Kwame Owusu Danso. On Instagram, Kwame Owusu Danso. Pardon? Today, Today, the president will be addressing the nation in Parliament today.
One of the topics.
Yeah. We couldn't touch on that, but essentially, we'll follow. We'll try and bring it to you. We might be having breaking news today, so please stick and stay tuned into Pan-African Television. Saka, thank you very much. We all disagree, but we agree eventually. Gabriel Atete, today you have really fired Saka. Today you didn't come smile. You didn't come to smile.
Really?
No, but today they reduced your smiles. It's good. Sometimes you have to be very hard. And Soprano Saka was Sylvester. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Kwame. I appreciate you.
Thank you for matching Saka for me. Saka made me shout today on top of my voice. I mean, if you want to assassinate the Constitution, I would not allow you to do that because the Constitution, Article 1 of the Constitution, and Article 1, 2, 2, 1 of the Constitution enjoins us to defend the Constitution at all times. So I'll let anybody.
And 41.
And 41. So I'll let anybody, assassinate the Constitution. Not possible.
But nobody's
not even Saka Salia would be allowed to do that on the show. I'll see you guys, God willing, tomorrow. Please do have a very wonderful day. My name is Kwame Owusu Danso. Always a pleasure serving you with a good morning Africa. Follow me on Instagram at Kwame Owusu Danso, on Facebook at Kwame Owusu Danso, on Twitter at Kwame Owusu Danso. Shalom. Peace. We're out.